So I am very thankful to be here today with Samuel, who I actually met in my women's French speaking practice group. Yes, I did say women's. He somehow made his way into that group, but that's where we met. And he has a very interesting life. So I thought he would be a fascinating person to interview today, and I'm certain that you're going to enjoy it. So thank you so much, Samuel, for being here.
Camille, thank you for having me here. I'm very excited.
Can you tell me a bit about yourself?
Well, Camille, I was born at a very young age, and from there...
I just realized what you said. I was born at a very young age.
But in all seriousness, I was born in North Carolina, in Charlotte, the big city. Mm-hmm. And from there, I went to the same school for 13 years, K through 12, with 80 people. So all 80 of these students, we all grew up together. So it's like I had 79 other brothers and sisters.
That's crazy.
For 13 years straight, which is, looking back, pretty special.
How many brothers and sisters did you actually have?
I have one little sister.
Okay.
And her name is Sarah. Mm-hmm. And soon she'll be getting married to her fiance.
Oh, nice.
He just asked back in March.
Yeah, very cool. Can you tell me a bit about your upbringing?
My father, when he went to college, he majored in musical theater. Mm-hmm. So he loved singing and acting and dancing, but now he runs his own company.
Wow.
And he wanted my sister and I to understand that even though he runs his own company and he has work that is professional, it's always very important to know how to speak and present and talk and act. Mm-hmm. So we all did musical theater for many years, learning how to act, sing, dance, speak in front of people.
Wow.
And that ended up being a very big part of our lives.
Yeah. How do you feel like that's shaped who you are today? Do you feel confident speaking in front of people, acting, all of those things?
I notice a real advantage, a real strength in being able to stand in front of people and be relaxed and present information, because even today, I might not be in front of 1,000 people, but in business, in life, with speaking one-on-one in interviews.
Yeah.
When you have one or two people that you need to impress, that you need to make a connection with, it's always good to first be relaxed and then let things just kind of keep moving.
Yeah. How do you relax before, say, an interview, a presentation, meeting new people? Do you have any tips, like psychological ways?
One of the best ways, I think, brings the tension down in any situation, it's got to be comedy.
Okay.
You got to be able to make yourself laugh. If we're not laughing, we're crying.
Okay.
So you got to be able to laugh it off. And then another thing that my dad always told me to do was when we're speaking or when we're presenting or selling something, we're in sales. Don't keep your hands like this. Don't keep your hands here. Don't put your hands here. Leave them out and leave them open, because it makes everybody relax. We're relaxed. Give me a hug. We're relaxing over here.
Yeah, it's true. Body language says a lot. If I was like, Samuel, so it just would feel closed, you know?
Camille, thank you so much.
Thanks for being here today.
What a great question. It really makes me think. My favorite food is food for thought, by the way.
Exactly. No, that's good. I like that.
To relax.
It's true. When you can laugh too, it just lightens the mood and everyone feels comfortable. And then you realize, oh, this isn't so awkward or as bad as I thought it was going to be or whatever. Yeah.
Well, in all things, whether it was the people I met or the things I got to do growing up, adventure has always been a very big part of my life. I can't seem to stay still.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about some of those adventures.
Well, my parents did an incredible job raising me to be well-mannered, respectful, disciplined, but I'm far from domesticated.
Okay.
When I was young, I ran off and I joined a circus where I performed in the circus for a couple years.
How old were you? You ran off. Like, did your parents know?
I remember I was introduced to it all when I was 18 years old.
Okay.
I taught this French girl how to salsa dance.
No way.
And she thought that it was kind of funny.
Yeah.
I did a terrible job. I have no doubt I did very poorly as a teacher. But we had fun. And then she said, hey, why don't you come with me and I'll show you what I like to do. And she was a trapeze artist from France.
Whoa.
And she had all these friends who were acrobats and circus performers.
Amazing.
And they introduced me. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I love this.
Wow.
When I went to college for the first year in Charlotte, I was sitting there in class, typing on the computer, taking notes. And then I realized, wow, I'm so bored. I closed the computer. I got up and I was like, I'll see you. And I looked up on my phone, circuses in North Carolina.
No way.
I just left.
Just drove to the circus.
Yep. And I auditioned later that day and got cast. So.
Wow. And what was your main role in the circus?
My favorite thing was being an aerial acrobat, which means that I would climb up into the trapeze or the silk, anything that would hang from the sky.
Wow.
And I would swing upside down, grab people.
Wow, that's
So I liked it.
wild. Did you also learn how to juggle?
We did do a lot of juggling and some handstands and all kinds of fun things with
Wow.
everybody.
How long were you a part of the circus? You said 2 years?
I was a part of the circus for 4 years.
Wow.
And I did all kinds of crazy little shows from time to time. But all things must come to an end, so I went to a different adventure.
And what was the different adventure?
Well, while I was in the circus, from time to time, my family, we would go on vacation.
Mm-hmm.
And where we would go to the Dominican Republic.
Nice.
We love the people. We love the bachata dancing. I love dancing.
Okay.
Camille, do you like dancing?
I'm not a good dancer, but I have fun with it.
Do you think you and Calvin would want to go dancing?
Maybe.
Next episode,
Oh my God.
I teach them to dance. But we would go down there. I would dance. And next to the ocean, they had all these places where you could rent little boats.
Mm-hmm.
And I would try to take these little boats out and I'd flip them over. You know, I wasn't ever very good, but over the course of 5 years,
Yes.
I just kept working on it. Every year that we go down there, I would just keep doing it. And then one day, I was over in South Carolina and there was a big lake and I was paddling out on the lake and I saw a boat sailing by and I thought, I'm going to talk to them. I paddle over to these guys and I say, hey! They look at me and I was like, hey, I love sailing. I want to be on that boat. I like sailing. I want to come sail with you guys. You know, I should be on that boat because, you know, I can help you guys. They're
Yeah, that's
jaw
not so
drop.
common.
And then this one guy on the boat, he says, what are you doing next week? I go, nothing. It was my birthday, but
Yeah.
and then he said, why don't you buy a ticket to Vermont and we'll go sail up there?
What?
Okay, I said to him. So I pulled over. I got out my phone. I said, hey, Dad, I know what I'm going to do for my birthday. Yeah, I'm going to buy a ticket to Vermont. I'll explain later. Buy the plane ticket. I was going to fly out. I got COVID. Couldn't go.
No.
The guy felt so bad. He's like, oh, hey, Samuel, I feel so terrible. I'll make it up. Do you like golf? Do you? I said, it's all right. No, it's okay. Don't worry.
Yeah.
I just feel bad. On November 12th of this past year, I get a phone call from that guy at 9 o'clock at night. I pick up the phone and say, hello. He goes, hey, Samuel, it's me, the guy from the boat. I said, hey,
Yeah.
we had never met before. We'd only ever
Wow.
texted or called in person. He says, hey, I was just thinking, we should buy a boat together.
What?
So I said, like a real boat? He's like, yeah, there's like this 25-foot boat. I think we should just buy it and just sail it together all the time. And
Wow.
I said, Okay. So the first day that we ever met each other was the day that we go to see this boat that we bought, and we went and sailed it. And he texted me this morning. He said, "Do you want to sail?" I was like, "I can't. I'm with Camille.
Oh my gosh.
Can't sail when Camille needs you." Rule number 1.
Very important rule.
Very
Thank you.
important rule.
Thank you. So this guy's become your friend now. You guys are friends. You go sailing.
Yeah.
Wow. Maybe I want to go sailing. I would be down to try sailing for sure.
We'd love to have you guys
Really?
come sail. Oh, yeah. That'd be
Oh,
fantastic.
that would be amazing. Thank you.
You like the water? Can you swim?
Yes. All my kids can swim. Even my 3-year-old learned this year. Yeah, they're all
Awesome,
great. They love the water.
Did you teach them to swim?
Actually, kind of, but they kind of learned from having a pool. So I just be like, move your arms, and they just kind of self-taught.
Can they do the strokes by name?
Not by name, but my 5-year-old and 8-year-old are fantastic. They can swim underwater. They can just do so many cool tricks in the water, dives. They dive through inner tubes if we hold them up. They're amazing.
It's like SeaWorld.
Yeah,
They're
kind
little
of.
shamus.
Yeah. And they get in that pool every single day. They love it.
That would be
Yeah.
great.
What lake do you sail on?
Keowee. Lake Keowee.
Amazing.
Have you seen it though?
Not recently.
Okay, you gotta come with me.
Okay.
You got all
seriously.
all of you guys really gotta.
Okay.
Lake Keowee is phenomenal. It is a huge freshwater lake. It is so clear. You can just see. You can see forever down there. And what makes it so unique, and it's an incredible fishing spot. I'm not much of a fisherman. You know.
Yeah.
I don't really do that sort of thing. But it's right next to the Duke Energy power plant.
Yeah.
I don't know if I told you about this. They let the water flush over the reactors to cool them down.
Okay.
And that water then heats up from having to cool down all those reactors. So in the winter, in the dead of winter, the lake is kept 5 degrees warmer, which allows the fish to keep spawning.
That's genius.
And now these fish are growing, and it's an incredible, thriving fishing location.
Amazing.
I have a spear, and I swim down there, and if I see a fish that I'd like to eat, you stab it.
You can actually get it.
Usually they get away.
Okay. So your fishing record isn't so great.
Very hungry all the time.
Okay.
But yeah, you swim there, kayak there, sail there.
Wow.
All of the above. And they have the little islands, and you're welcome on them.
Wow.
You jump on in there.
Amazing. Very cool. So you have been a part of the circus. You learned how to sail. What else have you done?
Okay, so recently, and this one's kind of crazy. When I was 16 years old, my dad and we went to a Renaissance festival. Do you know these things?
Yeah.
I love them. When my mom and dad got married, their first job was to work at a Renaissance festival
No
together.
way.
Which
Where,
actually,
in North Carolina?
yeah,
Wow.
I think that's wonderful.
Wow.
So they were working at this. So we go to the Renaissance festival. There are people there, dressed up, fun, merriment. There was this group of people who had made these metal swords, and they were displaying them, and you could buy them. And we took a look at them. They were selling for like $500. Like it was an uncanny amount of money. And they look nice. My dad said, "Samuel, look, they made that. Isn't that pretty impressive?" I said, "No, it's not impressive. I could do that."
Here we go.
Arrogant. And he says, "You really think you could do that?" Yeah. So he's, I don't know about that. What I ended up doing was I went home. I looked up everything there was to know about metallurgy and smithing and all these things.
Yeah.
I go to Lowe's and I buy these pieces of equipment and tools and everything to make a sword. And so I start getting to work making them. And my good buddy at the time, this is actually a kind of a sweet story. My good buddy at the time, he says, "Oh man, that's so cool. Would you make me one?" I said, "I'll make you one. I promise." In the middle of making it, it was molten hot, like where the sparks are flying, like the Taylor Swift song.
Oh, okay.
Sparks Fly. Great song. I didn't quench it in the water. And I laid it up against something. I was working on something else, and it fell on me, and it burned down my shoulder.
No, do you have a scar?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
It's gnarly.
Intense.
But, That's why I love camping. It's intense. But the scar burns down my arm, and then OSHA mom shuts me down.
OSHA mom? What do you mean, your mom?
OSHA, the workplace safety company.
No, wait. They didn't actually.
No, but my mother,
okay, your mom.
as the office
Got it.
workplace safety
She's
initiative.
like, no, you're
She comes in with a hard hat, shut it all down.
Oh, no.
So it's over. Recently, that friend of mine, he was getting married, and he had told his girlfriend, now wife at the time, when they were engaged, he said, Samuel, one of my groomsmen, I was the groomsman. He said he was actually going to make me a sword when I was 16. How funny is that little story? She says, he's got to do it. He's got to finish it. And if he finishes it, that will be what we cut the cake in our wedding with.
No way.
So they said, Samuel, you have to finish and I looked through the attic for about an hour, and I found the old piece of that metal. Wow. Cleaned it off, fired up the forge. And as an adult, I can work on it without OSHA. OSHA mom. And I went back and I finished it, scraped the whole thing, polished it, put a little hilt on it, everything that I was working on. And I drove it down to Alabama. Wow. Where their wedding was. We put it across the table. I have a photo I can show you. We put it across the table, and the two of them, after they got married, they cut their cake with it. That's amazing. And that was their wedding gift.
Have you ever made any more since?
I have. I've made a number of
Really? So kind of like stirred that creator spirit up in you again and making swords.
Making swords.
Wow. Very cool. So you also speak a number of languages.
I like to think so.
Which I think is amazing because as an American, we don't really learn languages. I mean, we're exceptions to the case. But typically, I feel like English is it. Maybe a tiny bit of Spanish. But why did you start learning languages? And what was the first language that you learned?
Each language that I learned was always a surprise to me because I never thought that I would ever learn a language. I remember taking language class in high school thinking, I'm never doing this again. Yeah. But then I remember around the time I was 17 years old, and God put it on my heart to just start loving this family who was in my city. They were Japanese, and their dad, it was a mom and two younger daughters and their father. Their father went on a business trip to Japan, and while he was there was an accident and he died. Oh. And he left the family behind. And so I started to learn Japanese so that I could go over to their house, and if they needed help with groceries, taking their kids to school, or if they wanted to go do something fun, or...
Yeah, that's amazing.
I would do that.
Did they speak English?
They have all their friends, and their community was Japanese, and so they brought me into their little Japanese community family, and there I was for 4 years. Wow. Learning Japanese with them and being a part of it.
So did you study much on your own, or were you just learning from speaking with them?
Every Monday night, there was a pastor. I remember this. There was a pastor at a Baptist church. He was from Japan, and he was in his 70s. He had come over to Charlotte, North Carolina, and he heard about what I was trying to do, and he told me, every Monday night, if you come here, every Monday night, I will teach you how to speak Japanese. And all we had was a Japanese Bible. Wow. So I didn't exactly learn words for like...
beginner vocabulary.
My vocabulary was odd. Everyone said to my father, they'd say, your son, he speaks like he's a psalmist or like a poet or something. I remember that they had a thing. It's gonna crack me up. They had a question where everyone had to go around and they had to describe, it was a bunch of younger people. They had to describe their first teacher. Oh, and they said, my teacher was kind. Oh, my teacher was funny. And they said, oh, that's very, in Japanese, of course. And then I said, Samuel, what about you? I said, my teacher was deeply merciful and abounding in grace.
Oh my goodness.
Itsukushimi fukage. They thought that was so funny because that's the kind of words I learned, you know?
Yeah.
You didn't learn like friendly, you learned redeemed.
Wow. Yeah, biblical words.
Deep words.
So interesting.
Then when I was 19, God told me, he said, start learning Spanish, start learning French.
Wow.
And I'll open up a door for both. And then 3 years later, I was in the Dominican Republic and I ran into this one person and they were Hispanic and God's like, just tell them about me. So I did. And I just said, hey, here's God and this, and he's after you and he's intentional with you and he's gracious and kind. He's like, he's a good friend. He's really funny. And Jesus Christ is the least religious person that I know, but he's a savior and he's perfect. And he wants to be daily in relationship with you. And you can be because of what he's done. And it just kind of like, I don't know if that clicked with them or anything, but it was all the Spanish that I had.
Wow.
I piled it on all at once. And then I remember I left the Dominican 3 days later, and then I got a call on the phone from that person. And they had called me and they were with one of their family members and they wanted to be a Christian and give their life to Jesus those 3 days later.
Wow,
and
that's amazing.
it was a beautiful story. They asked me if I would pray over everybody on the phone call.
Wow.
And so, you know the song Reckless Love?
Yeah.
By Corey Asbury?
Yeah.
I looked up the lyric, I looked Reckless Love in Spanish. And so I didn't know what to say, so I started reading it and I was like, oh, amor sin condición. And they're like, thank you, Sam.
That's incredible.
It was kind of funny because I didn't know what to say. So that was kind of funny.
Wow.
Moved to France when I was 21. 3 years later.
Okay.
And
how did you learn French?
I learned French and Spanish the exact same ways. I just took note cards and I wrote things down.
Wow.
And I just carried them around with me all day. Or I'd go on YouTube and, you know, Disney movies. You know, everyone kind of knows those songs. You listen to those in that language. And you just... One of the big things is you just find things that you want to talk about.
That's good.
I wanted to talk about CrossFit coaching. I was a CrossFit coach. I liked that. I liked some of their idioms. I liked their expressions.
Yeah.
Learning Italian now.
Yes.
I like one of the expressions that they have. It's kind of like the English version of you can't have your cake and eat it too. It's you can't have a full bottle of wine and a drunk wife. And
yes.
I'm like,
that's in French too. I'm pretty sure that one's in French too.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I just thought that was such a funny way of saying that.
Wow. So you're currently learning Italian.
Italian is what I feel like I should be learning next. I don't know why, but whenever God puts it on my heart to learn a language, somebody shows up who needs something in that language, and I'm glad that I started.
Wow. What else do you feel like language learning has done personally for your life?
Learning language has impacted me personally in a lot of different ways because I love making connections. I love communicating. I love being relationally driven with people. Social media in general, I don't know what's authentic. You know, we love tested things, but we hate the test. I like being able to put in some work to show somebody, hey, before I met you, I was intentional about hopefully learning a way to communicate with you because I want you to know I want to open the door to make a connection with you. And the best way I can show you that is by me, a white American guy who, I don't have to learn anything else in the entire world if I don't want to. But I think from where I'm coming from, if I show you, the people, sometimes their jaw just drops when I just start speaking to them. I said, where are you from? Japan. Oh, I'm from Honduras. I just, Why? Why do you do that? Because I want to talk to you. Because I hoped one day I would meet someone who spoke your language and that I could speak with you. I love the idea of, I was thinking about you before I knew you so that I could connect with you. Cool. And language does that. It's awesome. And it shows people that you care about them or that you're intentional and that communication's huge. It's just such a big thing.
Yeah.
And really communicating, you know?
Yes.
I don't want to just send you a text. Hey, I hope you're all right. I don't know. I want to call you. I want to be there. I want to say, do you need anything? Can I come over? Can I bring you dinner? So I don't know, anything.
Yeah.
There are all kinds of ways to be intentional.
That's good. And you've mentioned a few countries that you've lived in and traveled to. Do you have a particular country that you feel especially connected with?
There are so many great places to travel and to go. And, at the end of the day, it's never really the place, it's the people. I've been to a lot of places, but if the people aren't there, it's not the same.
Yeah.
I was telling somebody just last night, home really isn't a place, it's a people. And it can be anywhere. And I think we have a unique way of making homes. I think some of the best growth in my life was during on some of those trips to the Dominican Republic or to France. I think my family and we have great stories and memories from visiting Iceland, from visiting Norway, from visiting England, trips to Canada, Nova Scotia, little spots around there.
Wow.
It's all been fun. It's all been eye-opening for all the reasons that travel can be, and it is. But when I travel, I really want to make sure that I can get involved and really meet people. When I lived in France, I didn't go to all the tourist spots. I went and I tried to see if I could get a part-time job at a restaurant, like cleaning up their tables and their dishes.
Wow.
Because that's what people. That's what you do.
Yeah. Right.
It's just like people in New York are like, do you go to the Statue of Liberty every day? No, I don't do that. I go to work, or I go sit over here, or we go to the gym.
Yeah.
So I like getting to live like everybody. I don't want to tourist all over.
Yeah.
I want to live like them and be a part of what they have going on.
That's a really good point you make. And you've spoken a little bit about work and how you have trouble sitting still. What is your job? How do you make money?
My job, a little work philosophy was a lot of people said, what do you want to do?
Yeah.
That's a lot of pressure because I didn't know. But I could tell you this. I could tell you how I wanted to live. And how you want to live is a big question. You can use your imagination, you can use creativity, you get to let your mind run wild, and you dream bigger. What you want to do, I was like, I hope you're happy in what you do. That's kind of a bummer. How do you want to live? Here's how I wanted to live. I wanted to live in a way that my job that I chose would essentially be the vehicle that gets me there. And I wanted it to be something where I could use languages, relational sales, connections. I wanted to be able to control my time and my schedule because I believe that one day I'm going to have a wife and children, and they'll be the most important things in my life. So I want to be able to steward my time to spend the most of it with them. And the job that I'm in now, which is outside sales, I travel for sales, travel on sales calls, gonna try to join the international branch coming up.
Wow.
Get to do that.
Yeah.
It allows me to live the kind of lifestyle that I believe I'm called to live. And then it also allows me to make the money where everything I want to do for other people, or I could give it for free.
Wow.
I became an English teacher, ESL, and I never wanted to charge any of my students for the classes.
Wow.
To make the money to where everything that I want to give, whether it's in missions work, service, taking care of things, donations, I can give all of it. I can give it all for free. My first language teacher, he was a Japanese pastor. I asked him, I was like, hey, do you ever want me to pay for these lessons? He says, no. I freely learned Japanese growing up in Japan. Freely receive, freely give.
Wow.
My English, I learned it for free just being born in America. And so if you all need to learn English, whoever they are, I became an English teacher and I got this job so that everything I can give, I give for free. I tell them,
wow, everything
that I can give is yours.
Wow.
Because that's kind of how God treats me.
That's amazing.
You can take away the job, you can take away my car, you can take I'm still the richest man in the world. because of what God has done for me.
Wow.
So everything that I can give is theirs.
Wow. What do you most appreciate about life here in the USA?
Number one, the men that I've been able to model after and look up to here down in the Carolinas and Tennessee, the Southeast region, which is where I've spent all my life, they believe in a hard work ethic, that hard work pays off. And, you're not given things in life, you earn those things. My dad, I remember when I was born, they didn't even know if I would be able to be fed.
Wow.
Because he risked everything to try to make something with his own two hands.
Wow.
And I think America is still maybe the best place on earth to be able to build something and create something.
Yeah.
And that's whose image we're made in. Create something, build something, make something, not just mundanely work. Like there is no goal, but to have goals, to push ourselves, to strive and to reach. And I know that heart can be found across the world. But where I've seen it modeled in America has been awesome. And that passion and that drive, I think, is really unique to the men and the businesses and the things that I've seen here in America. And then I also love just the ability that we have of being down here where Christianity and Jesus and the Bible is known by most people and it's known by many, and there's a hospitality, there's a culture to it, which I really appreciated growing up in a big way. I really did. Being able to trust so many adults in my city, because we all came from a homogeneous place. It wasn't that we were all the same. We were all from different parts of different parts of the world, but we all agreed on the same morals and the same values. And that has to be said about every civilization if it's going to thrive. The two ones that come off.
What would you say, I don't like this about America? What's like something maybe challenging or hard about living here?
Camille, a challenge for America, which is going to prove to be a challenge for every country where people live, just not because we're Americans or because French are French or because Spanish are Spanish, but because we're people, we're humans, we're flawed. But America uniquely, without struggle, without problems, where there is abundance that isn't received humbly and graciously, complacency sets in, apathy sets in. And when there are no challenges, there are no goals, there is no striving, we like problems, and so we just make our own. When things are too easy and men are not pushing each other or themselves, complacency sets in and discourse soon follows. My fear and breaks my heart for America as a country is to see, maybe for the first time in its history, on a wide scale, a generation of men and women divided in passion and pursuit, and the goal seems to be discourse, not unity behind a common goal. And when that happens in factions and discourse and division, Abe Lincoln said it best, that kind of house doesn't stand. But my desire, what I wake up and I want to see in the change that I hope to be just by who I am and how I live, is men would once again be passionate servant leaders. They would be gentle men. They would be meek yet courageous, and they would serve women, and women wouldn't have to fight for a role and an identity and have to argue for a place in the story, but because of the way that men would treat them, they would know inherently exactly where their role is. Men gotta step up, because sometimes when some boys are 40 years old, when they play games with the responsibilities and the privileges of men without assuming any of the responsibility, people get hurt. Families get hurt. And there are a lot of men out there that are tired of picking up after little boys. But we don't exactly cultivate a culture that teaches boys to grow out of adolescence. In fact, we made up a word called adolescence, which doesn't exist. You're either a boy and you get none of the privileges of men, or you assume those responsibilities and ascertain the privileges because you step into the role of being a man. But that means when it goes wrong, it's all on you.
Yeah.
So you got to step up.
Taking responsibility. Yeah. What are currently your biggest passions, things that bring you the most joy in your life?
Some of my biggest passions right now, for the past 9 years, I've been preparing myself I'd love to be married, to receive the blessing of getting to be married, to serve a wife, have her in my life. So preparing for her, saving for her, making decisions that now that I hope she'll get to reap the crop of. That is definitely a passion of mine. Right now, there have been people placed in my life that I get to serve. I get to speak into their life. I get to be with. I get to help out. And that's the thing with God. You try to bless somebody. You try to help. You just get blessed back 2 times as much. My heart has been so changed, and the service and just being knit so closely together with these people in my life. I'll be forever changed, and they have left a handprint upon my heart. My family actually calls me New Samuel.
No way.
Because I'm more gracious and gentle and not as angry all the time. And I love what God's doing. I just love what he's doing. But being men, boys initiated into masculinity, assuming responsibility, being disciplined, integrity, these are things that, I'll lose sleep over it, and you need accountability for it. And it's getting on that phone in front of a bunch of people and then getting ready to be like, oh geez, I'm about to be roasted, but it's gonna make me grow up. So that's what it's about.
Wow.
I love it. But on a lighter note, sailing's been fun. I like getting on a boat because there's no one out there. Jeez.
Oh, good. Well, we have talked about a lot in this interview. Everything from sailing to circuses to not going to university to faith. And
I did finish college, by the way.
Oh, you did?
So I did. Congratulations.
Yeah, great job. Great job. So you went back to university?
I got to do both. I did do both, but I just left the class.
Oh, just left the class that day. Okay, gotcha. So what did you end up graduating with? Like
communications.
I
just got out of college.
Good. Okay, so he did graduate.
I did go to school.
Yes.
But
Yeah, so I hope that you guys enjoyed watching this interview. I sure had a good time, and I am so thankful that you were here.
Thank you so much, Camille. It's been a really excellent time. Thank you, everyone.